Through research conducted, we found that network operations are responsible for software, hardware, and the virtualized components. What are some examples of situations where you were to deal with each of them?
Okay. I'm glad you asked that question because a lot of the networking infrastructure is now being virtualized. Okay, so there's push away from adding hardware now as a solution to actually enlarge networks. What we're doing is what the push is now to actually create virtualized environments. So what that means is they could actually buy smaller amounts of hardware and then physically virtualize it into a number of logical environments. Um, People are using that for as a means to reduce costs, overheads, not have big data centers because cost of managing data centers is actually phenomenal in relation to managing applications and also looking at outsourcing services to actually reduce that. Well, for argument's sake, with the data centers, outsourcing the data center components and not having to worry about data centers or infrastructure. Let a service provider provide that and they virtualize everything for you within their own environment and provide it to you at a turnkey cost.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Okay. What are the common challenges do undergraduates face in such a job?
The challenges that the undergraduates face is moving into an environment where they've been skilled. The skill sets within the universities, uh, to some degree, aren't keeping up with the actual outside world. So what's happening is that they're teaching people um, products and technologies that might be a couple of years out of date in comparison to what's currently the push within the uh, the IT world. We're talking about virtualization as being the next great move forward within IT. Okay, where opposes a couple of years ago, people were actually in-house managing their own infrastructure, their own staff, where opposes now they could actually package up and could all be outsourced in relation to the management components and the services provided. Now, there's a lot of challenges there in relation to that, which is not bad for undergraduates, but what it means is the world is changing. Okay, and what needs to happen is people within the IT world, IT areas of education, need to actually be able to pick up and start keep up with the current technologies of what's happening out there. Now, as it stands, there's also in relation to this, as I said, our graduate programs. Commonwealth Bank is not the only company that provides graduate programs. Okay, Westpac, Lendlease, state government, they all offer graduate programs for upcoming IT professionals. The biggest challenge is being able to adapt. Okay, and that's something you need to do.
Right, that's a very good answer. Okay, would you like me to ask it?
Just to add on to that the question, what do you recommend for an IT student wishing to enter this field in the future? What do you recommend for?
What do I recommend that for an IT student?
Yeah.
Okay, once they actually move into an area of skill sets in relation to go out and identify where they want to be placed within the industry. The industry is so big in relation to development, operations, management, and identify what you like to do, which career path you want to follow, which stream you want to pursue, because there's so many streams that are out there, and you find a lot of people get caught up in particular areas, and then don't like the specific area of IT that they get into, and then it turns them off the industry. So be broad, and then if there's an area that you don't particularly you're not happy with or do not like, try and find another niche to move into.
I have something to add on top of that. In terms of education potential, there's a saying that goes, the jack of all trades but master of none. Now, how would you relate that to an IT profession?
Well, what you find is that's a common trait, but you always find in the IT profession there will be one man band companies, whereas a small company, startup company, may not have the resources to actually employ 20 people in relation to maintaining their IT services. So it might only have one or two people, and that one or two people uh, might be all that's available to actually provide the IT services. In those sorts of instances, yes, jack of all trade, master of none, but what you do is there's some levels of diversity, and always you will find will be levels of escalation, and that's the key to IT. In the event you in the company do have a problem, uh, the the approach that always is promoted within IT is the, the common term escalation. You cannot resolve an issue. You have an issue. You have a problem with infrastructure. You need a purchase. You cannot resolve it yourself. What you need to do is you'll have an escalation for that process, and that's something in relation to master of none, uh, which you commonly refer to, jack of all trades. Now, in those sorts of instances, yes, they can be a jack of all trades, but there will be approaches where escalation is available to them for all those sorts of things.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Okay. As we all know, the IT industry is a male-dominated one. So, in terms of your role in an organisation, is this career a good choice for a female wishing to enter the IT industry? You can be honest.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. Some of the work it can be fairly dirty in relation to actually doing work when you're working in data centers, for argument's sake. Because some of the work you may be required to do is running cables underneath subfloors, or terminating cables, or installing hardware, which for some of the girls, when you're talking about devices that could be, some instances could be 60 kilos in weight, okay, having to pick them up and rack mount them, for argument's sake, within racks. There's equipment that you need to actually mount, possibly not that sphere, but in the configuration component where they're actually doing some fault finding, troubleshooting, or doing soft type of work, definitely.
That was a very good answer. You want to go? You.
So, what ethical issues could I encounter in this role?
Well, there's a lot of ethical issues. I've been across people where you're dealing with huge amounts of money in relation to purchases, acquisitions, and dealing with private companies. And what you need to do is there's processes in relation to acquisitions you need to actually follow, so that you, for argument's sake, I don't go to my brother-in-law and try and buy $5 million worth of equipment from him that's only worth $1 million, for argument's sake. You've got to, there's ethical issues in relation to purchase, ethical issues in relation to responsibilities on the environment. For argument's sake, you could find that people misusing the infrastructure or the services of a company that you work for. There's data that's presently stored on that network. Okay, ethical issues in relation to who you provide access to that data, who physically works on that data. There's ethical issues everywhere you turn. Okay, and it is very important that high ethical standards are maintained by people, and you always find that in some instances, if ethical issues are questioned about someone, they will not last in the industry.
And that links on to our next question. Sorry. So, how does the company deal with employees who have made unethical decisions?
The honesty, there's a couple of options. Disciplinary actions, depending on how bad the issue is, and to dismissal. Full stop. In the story. No questions asked. Okay. When you're talking about in our instance, customers' details or personal details belonging to people, okay, there's ethical responsibilities every one of us has in relation to safeguarding all that data.
That statement you just put, is there any way you could put that in the previous question?
Yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah, that was good for the previous question. My next, like, as a continuation, is there any sort of blacklisting in the IT industry with regards to people who do make unethical decisions in their work?
Honestly, the IT industry in Sydney, New South Wales, and potentially across Australia, is not a very big industry. If someone is found to have acted unethically, you will find that the word spreads fairly quickly.
That's fine. Yeah. Training requirements.
So, what are ongoing trainings and career development opportunities in this?
Sorry.
What are
Uh,
Yes, right. What are ongoing training requirements and career development opportunities?
Now, in regards to ongoing requirements, from a training perspective, our company, if it introduces new infrastructure, provides some levels of training. Okay, but the expectation is for you, if you have any certifications, it's your responsibility to maintain your certifications. If there's exams for your certifications, the company will pay for those exams if you provide them a pass level. Okay, where opposes you've shown them that you have conducted an exam to provide them additional level of fundamental skill, and you pay for that skill, they will reimburse you for it. But if you fail the exam, you do not get reimbursed for that.
Awesome. Requirements for GS.
what are the requirements for promotions?
Promotions. Promotions generally are based on a couple of things. Primarily vacancies. Okay. Second thing, technical development, also ethical practices, and responsibility in relation to how well you can take responsibility within your field of expertise. Okay, so what happens is those sorts of things are gauged within the environment, and then what happens is as per an organisation, they will have a recruitment process where they will follow a recruitment process to fill a vacancy as a lead or a manager, and then what they'll do is they'll assess people based on that.
Awesome. Well, we're just finishing statements, so we would like to thank you very much for allowing us the time.
Okay. So thank you very much for your time. We are so thankful.
Yeah, we're very thankful. We're appreciative. You've given us a lot of insight on what life is like in the not only in the IT industry, but within your senior network operational engineering field. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we ready?
Yeah, that's good.
Good?
Yeah, we just need a couple shots of you nodding over that.
Okay, alright. So what we'll do is, so Dad, if you can twist this a little bit so GI can fit in there. So if you can fit in there, and over your shoulder.
Yep.
So he's going to be over your shoulder, and it's just going to be us looking at you. And we'll just do like a couple. It's like,
You what?
yeah, there's a
really looking interested.
Oh, probably one just put over there.
So,
From the table.
yeah.
No, don't say anything. Just yes, yes. And we're going to nod at the same time.
Okay.
Because if I nod and then you nod, it's kind of like, what? Like they're not even.
Okay.
So ready? So how are we going to do this?
1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
I was saying,
But does it look like I'm talking? Does it look like
You don't have to talk. Just that's it. Like, because he's talking. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. Okay.
So maybe you can mute it
Yeah, what
at
I
the
was
time.
to say.
Yeah, I'm muting it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright. Okay.
Yeah, you only need about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You only need a couple of seconds each time.
Yeah. It's all
Alright,
good.
sweet. Okay, what I'll do is I will export this onto my computer.
Yeah.
Put
Is
it